Hello friends, today I'll give the introduction about the HDFS design features. Before going to look at the features, I'll just give the brief introduction about the HDFS architecture. Here the HDFS architecture contains uh, four main components, four main blocks, that is HDFS client, name node, data node and secondary name node. Here, this architecture works like master slave. Here, name node acts as a master, data node acts like a slave. Um, all the files written by the clients are stored in the data node with the help of name node. The sense, as I said in the previous session, a single file is divided into different blocks and stored in the different data nodes. Here all the information, like if suppose a file is divided into three different blocks, where the first block is stored and whether it is in the read write mode, when the file is created, all these informations like the metadata of the file is stored in the name node. Here secondary name node is a backup for the main name node, that is master node. All the files are get stored in the data node. If any other clients want to read that file, he first requests a file with the name node. The name node search the file name and find where this file is stored. In the sense I said, a single file stored in different data nodes. So that data nodes are uh, first traced by the name node. Then these different blocks of the file are retrieved from this data node and given to the client during the read process. This is the actual architecture of HDFS. Next, we'll look at the features. Here there are 7 main features of HDFS: the cost, variety and volume of data, reliability and fault tolerance, data integrity, data locality, high throughput and scalability. If I take the cost, this here HDFS cost is very less, mainly because of the use of commodity hardware. Commodity hardware in the sense a cheaper, affordable servers, the sense a normal computer system. We no need to purchase enterprise hardware which costs more. The use of commodity hardware reduce the overall cost of HDFS architecture. Here in the architecture, as I said, a data node, say you can observe here, data node, each one is a computer or server. Okay, here each data node indicates a separate computer. This data node can be any cheaper computer can be used as a data node. So the overall cost of HDFS is very less. Second feature is variety and volume of data. Using HDFS, we can store huge amount of data in an efficient way. The data can be structured, unstructured or semi-structured. In the sense, this is the main difference between the database and DBMS and HDFS. That is, in HDFS, the data used should be a structured one, but in HDFS, data can be structured, unstructured or semi-structured. It is preferable to use HDFS for large sized big files than small size. The reason is the logic behind HDFS is the file is divided into different blocks and the metadata of these information is stored in the name node, right? If I use a small files, more number of metadata information need to be stored in the name node, which increase the complexity. So it is better to use HDFS for large file size. Third feature is reliability and fault tolerance. The system functions, that is HDFS, functions properly without any data loss even if some hardware components fail. The thing is, in the architecture you observed, there are many data nodes used to store the file. Even if any data node or computer fails, the data can be retrieved without any loss. We'll see how it works. Here, this slide use HDFS without replication concept. In the sense, if any component fails, data get lost. You can observe, this is a file I want to store. This file is divided into 4 different blocks, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And my HDFS overall architecture used 6 data nodes or 6 computers. Here computer 1, 3, 5 and 6 are used to store 4 different blocks. Okay, so I have written the file and it is stored in 4 different blocks. Now, because of some problem, computer 3 failed. In such case, a third person is coming and want to read the same file. What happens? Block 1, 3 and 4 can be retrieved without any problem, but block 2 is corrupted because of computer 3 failure, right? So this can be avoided by using a replication concept which is explained here. This is the main feature of HDFS. HDFS make use of replication concept. According to this, the file is divided into different blocks 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4. You can observe, all the blocks are stored 3 times. You can observe block 1 is stored in computer 1 as well as in computer 4 and also in computer 6. So a single block gets stored in 3 computers, so replicated. Okay, each block is replicated 3 times. Similarly, block 2 you can observe, block 2 is also stored in computer 1, computer 3, computer 5. So computer 1, 3 and 5 also having block 2. So even though any one computer fails, this block 2 can be retrieved from other computers, right? So here I assumed the previous case that computer 3 failed because of some problem. Now any other client want to read that file, so here block 1 can be read from computer 1, then block 2 can also be read from computer 1, block 3 from computer 2, block 4 from computer 2. So even though any system fails, the blocks can be retrieved from other computer or other data node. This is the actual replication concept which is adopted by HDFS. So even though any system fails or any hardware component fails, the data can be retrieved without loss. Okay, the replication factor is 3 by default in HDFS. So HDFS is flexible enough to add and remove data nodes. So even though any data node fails, HDFS is very flexible to add any extra data nodes. Clear? The next feature is data integrity. Data integrity refers to the correctness of data. HDFS ensures data integrity by constantly checking the data against the checksum. In the sense, during write process, I hope you studied the CRC concept in data communication subject. Same way, the HDFS also use a checksum concept, that is, when a client write a file into any file into the storage using HDFS concept, it will create a checksum. Okay, that checksum is maintained by a name node. During the write process, the file is retrieved. from the data node, and checksum is compared with the already generated checksum during reading process. If checksum does not match, it means the file is corrupted. In such case, that file is completely discarded, and that block, corrupted block, can be retrieved from other data nodes as I explained in the replication concept. Clear? I'll just explain here. I said there are many data nodes. A client is writing a file, so this file is divided into different blocks and stored in different data nodes, right? During this write process, I said each data block is replicated thrice and stored in different data nodes, replication concept. During this write process, it will generate a checksum. Checksum is generated. Okay, assume this is a checksum. Another client is coming and want to read the same file. During that read process, this data block is taken from the data node and compared with the checksum. If checksum does not match, that data block is discarded, and I said the same data node is also stored in data block is also stored in different computers. That data block is again taken and checksum is compared. If checksum matches, it means no corruption, so that file is given to the file access is given to the client. Clear? Like this, HDFS use checksum concept to give the data integrity. While file reading, if checksum does not match with the original checksum, the data is said to be corrupted, and the client then opts to retrieve the data block from another data node. Clear? The name node discards the corrupted block and creates an additional new replica. Okay, in the sense, if a name node comes to know that some block is corrupted, the same block, the sense uncorrupted block from other data node is taken from different data node and another replica is created. Okay. And next feature is data locality. You can observe here, usually the data locality talks about moving processing unit to data rather than data to processing unit. Usually the concept behind the processing is data is taken from the memory and this data is taken into the processor for or ALE unit for processing, right? But HDFS use the concept that the algorithm or processing concept to the data where the data is present. In the traditional system, data is brought at the application layer and then gets processed. But in the present scenario, due to massive volume of data, bringing data to the application layer degrades the network performance. So in HDFS, we bring the computation part to the data node where data resides. You can observe here, assume that these are the different data nodes. This is the algorithm I want to apply on the file. This algorithm itself is sent to the different data nodes. I said data nodes are the different computers where a single file is distributed, right? So this single algorithm is transferred to all the computers where the data is present. Then this algorithm is applied on this data and output is taken back. So this is the data locality feature of an HDFS. High throughput. um, Throughput is the amount of work done in a unit time. If we take a traditional system, a single server node is used. So file, I'll take a file or program is taking some 50 seconds or 100 seconds of time, sorry, a file want to be processed using a server, which is taking some 40 minutes of time. Same file need, of course, 40 divided by 3 seconds of time if I use 3 servers in place of single server, right? Because HDFS is using multiple nodes to store a single file. So here, according to the data locality concept, we are taking algorithm to the data where the data resides. So if this file takes 40 seconds of time, here this 40 seconds of time is performed by 3 computers, so it is reduced by 40 by 3 seconds. Next feature is scalability. As HDFS stores data on multiple nodes in the cluster, when requirements increase, we can scale the cluster. Scaling in the sense adding extra hardware. This scalability can be achieved using two methods: vertical scalability or horizontal scalability. This diagram will clearly explains about the difference between vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. If I take a 32 GB of RAM for the first time, now I want to improve the system. So one way is I can replace this 32 GB RAM computer with a 128 GB RAM system. Okay, I'm completely replacing a system with a different RAM size. Okay, this is one system with 32 GB RAM. I'm completely changing the system with a 120 GB of RAM. Another method is horizontal scaling. Here the concept is I'm instead of a single 32 GB RAM system, I'm using four such system of 32 GB of RAM. Clear here? So vertical scalability in the sense add more resources. Either it may be a CPU or memory or any disk on the existing nodes itself. But in horizontal scalability, adding more machines in the cluster. The horizontal scalability is the better way to improve the scalability without downtime. Thank you, students. In the next section, next session, we'll discuss about HDFS components. Thank you. Bye. Take care.